The Camino Real Bridge links the cities of Eagle Pass, Texas, with Piedras Negras in Mexico. With easy access to the Southwest's biggest cities, the crossing has become a prime target for cartels trying to push narcotics into the U.S.
Usually they're going to put narcotics in anything, they fill them to the max. Where there's some more narcotics, we hopefully shall find them.
18, Customs, lane 1.
In secondary, Officer Sanchez and his team have stopped a truck towing a trailer of what appears to be cooking supplies. It was pulled aside after being selected for a routine random inspection.
We do the 7-point on the vehicle. We start looking for contraband, drug, money, something illegal. The driver, he's a little nervous right now.
While the driver is detained, Officer Sanchez and his team meticulously search his vehicle.
Couple of beer that was open, chile seco, peanuts, bunch of stuff. There's something here. There's something here. We found something. And it should be there. This is like a tracker. Found a tracker here.
Concealed in a small pot on the back seat, Officer Sanchez has discovered a tracking device.
Look at that. I found that. I opened that thing. Look at that.
The type used by cartels to keep an eye on their illicit shipments.
There's something there, definitely. Probably narcotics.
57 Roger, we'll show you en route.
We're about to do a high-profile removal.
Is that your inspection in secondary?
You're either drunk or high.
Sí, que llevas nada de drogas, armas.
I'll go to a lot of trouble to hide this stuff.
It's a constant battle.
Hello. U.S. citizen, sir?
Yes, sir. It's another typical Saturday in Progreso here. Sun is out, people are out. A lot of people are going for the dentist and medication, the doctors. That's all I keep hearing. Hello, U.S. citizens, guys?
In southern Texas, the Progreso border crossing has gained a reputation for medical tourism.
Next.
On the Mexican side of the bridge, the small town of Nuevo Progreso has over 100 pharmacies selling medication at a fraction of U.S. prices.
What are you bringing back today, ma'am?
Medicine.
What kind of medicines you bring?
It's no surprise that prescription pills are constantly being smuggled through here. This afternoon, Officer Cerna has stopped a man he suspects of trying to sneak medication inside a bottle of vitamin supplements.
All right, sir. Go ahead and step this way. Right into the cell here. Face to the right. Place your hands up on the wall. Spread your feet. Any pocket-sized weapons? He said he was bringing back a supplement that he didn't need a prescription for. I inspected the bottle physically, and when I opened it, the paper seal that's on top, that's usually sealed with glue, just came right off, indicating that it's been tampered with.
The man insists that the pills are vitamins, but Officer Cerna thinks otherwise.
The issue that we're having here is the supplement that you said that you have, it's not what you're saying it is. So, you want to tell me what's going on here? I can put it to you like this, okay? You know what's going on, right? Like you're a grown man, you know what you're doing, okay? And I don't really see a point in you doing jail time, right?
Yeah.
For something simple like with what we got.
Yeah, you're right.
So what is it that you got in there?
It's supposed to be like tramadol.
Tramadol is a synthetic opioid prescribed as a painkiller. It's a controlled substance in the U.S. due to its addictive nature.
So the rule is that you can bring 50 pills. That's what we're allowed to cross over without a U.S. prescription. So right now the big deal is that because you had them concealed in a different medication bottle labeled as something else, that's considered smuggling.
smuggling a controlled substance is a federal crime.
You ever been arrested before in your life, sir?
I got arrested not too long ago for possession.
And with a prior drug offense, the man could face up to 5 years in prison if convicted. At Eagle Pass,
There's something here. We found something. Found a tracker here.
Officer Sanchez is convinced that a truck found with a tracking device is smuggling drugs.
Look like in cargos, bottles. We're looking for something else. We're looking for drugs. We need to call the K9. Jimenez. Good boy.
If the dog detects any narcotics, it will give a subtle cue to its handler.
Good boy.
4 copper pots catch the dog's attention.
Good boy.
Officer Sanchez and Officer Morgan take a closer look.
Be that heavy?
Super heavy, brother. Super heavy. Hey, that should be hollow, but look at that. It's solid. Solid, solid, solid like a rock.
Cartels have been known to modify furniture, electronics, and even artwork to hide narcotics.
Let's take one. It's really heavy. We go definitely to the X-ray machine. Let's put it there. Look at that. Bring it back.
Officer Sanchez immediately spots an anomaly on the X-ray.
The normal pod, like everything's smooth and regular. But right now you have a shape here, shape there, like it's not something normal there. Look at that pedal, positive. You can see the packages inside. We need to open it up.
On the northern border,
Where's everyone headed to today? Lions game? Are they gonna win today? You sure?
the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel is a major gateway between the U.S. and Canada.
Good afternoon. Citizenship?
United States.
All right. Why were you in Canada, sir?
My brother's wedding last night.
You didn't try to talk him out of it?
Since 2018, marijuana has been legal on both sides of the border, but it's still illegal to cross it over the international boundary, and seizures are on the rise. In the inspection area, Officer Roth is searching a car that was traveling outbound into Canada.
First thing I noticed was there was a pungent smell coming from the car. Subjects are wearing gloves, masks, so I pulled it aside. We're gonna take a look inside the vehicle, see if there's anything they shouldn't have.
The car was being driven by a man with his two friends, who are all being detained in the CBP office.
We're from Flint, Michigan. We was coming down here just to travel and do a little shopping.
They live an hour north of Detroit and say they weren't intending to visit Canada at all.
Tried to put in a Walmart on a GPS, the closest one. So I clicked it, not knowing it's in Canada, and I turned. As soon as I turned, I was gonna try to back up, try to go back out, but one of the officers stopped us, said we can't do that.
When he approached the men at the crossing, Officer Roth saw them try to stash something away.
When I asked them for any kind of narcotics or weapons, they said they didn't have any. I don't think that's the case.
And underneath the front passenger seat, he finds a backpack.
It's got a little bit of cash, A halo of some type. And what do you know? Yep. I knew it. They did a bad job of hiding it.
Inside the backpack is a large bag of marijuana.
This is a considerable amount. I'm going to call this personal use.
With such a large amount, Officer Roth suspects the men are dealing, which could land them in jail.
So something else we found in the bag with the weed was, these look like money order checks. Looks like there's $2,000 worth here. For money orders, it's more difficult to trace exactly where the cash is going to. So with all the things we found combined, we might have some suspicion that there's distribution or selling of it going on.
Officer Roth now needs to establish exactly who the three men are and whether they have previous drug offenses.
We have other identifications. We're going to run their names, see if they have any active warrants. Let's see.
The first two travelers have clean records.
What's going on with him? He has 3 warrants, 2 limited extradition, 1 no extradition.
But public records show the third is a wanted man.
Weapons charges, larceny. Yeah, he has a CVS receipt worth of warrants.
In Progresso, a man could be facing up to 5 years in prison after being caught trying to traffic the prescription drug tramadol inside a bottle of vitamins.
Because you had them concealed in a different medication bottle labeled as something else, that's considered smuggling.
But before he can decide on what penalties to impose, Officer Cerna first needs to establish whether the man intended to sell the pills.
Is the tramadol for you only or for somebody else?
For me.
Yes, okay. How many do you take a day?
3.
3? What's the usual prescription like?
Well, what he was giving me, the doctor was giving me 180 pills. He was giving me like 6 times a day.
The man reveals he was prescribed the drug for a limited time after an injury he incurred 6 years ago.
I hurt my back real bad. I don't know if it was from there at work because I do a lot of lifting.
Okay, and what are you doing for work right now?
Right now I'm between jobs, but because of the medicine, they gave me a year to fix it and I couldn't fix it in a year.
He developed an addiction that threatens more than just his career.
I got 6 kids, man, so I just had a baby boy. He's like 4 months, so.
Oh, so I'm sure that they want to see healthy men will be messing with this stuff, you know? It's not really worth it.
My bad.
So since you're being honest with me, I'll talk to my supervisor, see if we can work with you.
Officer Cerna must now determine whether to press criminal charges against the traveler.
Hey, sir, it's Cerna.
He consults his supervisor.
Hey, so we did the pat down, it was negative, but the guy had medication inside another bottle, so it ended up being tramadol, and he was posing as a supplement. But I think it's only 100 pills. I'm just sending back. All right, 10-4. Bye. You go. We appreciate the honesty here, right? And I'm grateful that you were upfront with me. But if they catch you again, it's not going to be good. These pills could destroy your life. You know what I mean? And a lot of people say, my body, my choice. But this choice for you would affect your children.
I hear you.
So just know that, okay?
Before the man heads home,
you can put the pills back in the bottle.
Officer Cerna sends him back to Mexico to dispose of the medication.
All right, this one. It's kind of a sad story. I mean, I pretty much try to inform them the best I can of the dangers, and ultimately, they have the free will to do what they want. You hope they make the right choice, and it's on them if they don't.
At the Camino Real Bridge in Eagle Pass.
Look at that pedal, it's positive. You can see the packages inside.
X-rays have revealed what looks like packages of drugs concealed in the base of 4 copper pots. Now officers need to break them open.
They do it like a double wall in the floor. So the package is in between the floors, It's a compartment.
Officers Sanchez and Perales are wary of damaging any narcotics inside the pot.
Le damos con esta, Martín. Usamos el grinder este.
They use a grinder to cut around the edge of the false floor.
A ver si lo puede hacer palanca, sí, para acá.
Then revert to hand tools to pry the metal base open.
Ya, mira. Look at everything there. Look at that narcotics, the packages. We need to open the other side to take it off the package completely.
It's painstaking work.
Look at that. Benavides, it's here.
But after 25 minutes, 2 bags are extracted, each stuffed full of a solid dark substance.
It's really hard because double floor is copper, and we try to cut them without cutting the plastic bag. So right now we done with 1, we have 3 more.
The officers work on the remaining 3 pots.
Sí.
And quickly uncover even more packages.
Is it the same?
Yeah, same thing.
So we're good. For now, we have like 10 packages in total. We're thinking like it's black heroin.
Bravo 2K9. Can you make it to the bus lane, please?
To confirm his suspicion, Officer Sanchez takes the drugs to the CBP lab for testing.
If they change to green color, it's positive for heroin. So we have a positive test for heroin.
The packages contain black tar heroin, an unrefined form of the drug that is teeming with impurities, making it even more deadly to users. The drugs will be handed over to Homeland Security investigations, who will look into the driver's role in this trafficking operation. If convicted, he could be facing up to 15 years in prison.
The total weight is 15.30 kilos of black heroin. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a very good seizure for today.
Mexican cartels are responsible for 90% of the heroin that makes it into the U.S. And this load would have netted them over $1.5 million on the street.
Every day we seize the drug, we save the life of somebody. This is our goal: find drug, find guns, everything like they can't hurt people in the United States. We stop it.
Hi, ¿de dónde viene, sir?
We get different people from all types of Mexico. We're talking about from Veracruz to Sabinas to, you know, deep interior Mexico. I guess Laredo is such a big port, so a lot of people come here. So it's, you know, every day is something different. Listos, ahí se cuidan. Ya, igualmente. Gracias.
In Laredo, the gateway to the Americas Bridge carries 10,000 travelers into the U.S. every day.
¿Qué celebras o qué? ¿Cuándo la carne?
To enter the country, all these visitors must have valid visas or border crossing cards.
Yo tomo una foto.
But this morning, Officer Aquino Jimenez has stopped a group with no immigration papers.
¿Familia de qué parte de México nos vienen? Puebla.
A family of 6 has arrived at the border and is asking for humanitarian parole to enter the country.
¿Cuál era el propósito de ir en el día de hoy?
Acompañar a nuestra hermana que falleció, ¿verdad? Después de su funeral.
Humanitarian parole gives special approval for foreign nationals to enter the U.S. in times of crisis.
Los hechos ocurrieron
En Tijeras, New Mexico.
And this group is petitioning to enter the country after tragedy struck their family.
al hermano de ellos.
La hermana de mi hermana ajá, y el hermano de él.
Okay.
While suffering a mental health crisis, their nephew shot and killed his mother, father, and sister in their home.
¿Saben más o menos qué día sucedieron los hechos?
Sí, fue el domingo. Esto te digo bien. Espérame. 13.
Okay. Domingo 13.
Sí.
Okay.
Now the family wants to get to New Mexico to attend the funeral service. Only around 3 in every 10 applications for humanitarian parole are approved.
So fingerprints are good, right?
But given their situation, this family has a strong case. Officer Aquino Jimenez has just one more consideration before making a final decision.
Previous adverse action.
One of the family members was previously deported from the U.S. after entering using false documents.
It was something that happened back then on 1998, that he was processed for an immigration violation.
Now that violation could cost his whole family the chance to say their final goodbyes to their loved ones.
Yes, sir. Egress, go ahead and open back up.
Next around the corner.
They're here for how long? 3 weeks total.
In Detroit, Officer Roth is investigating 3 U.S. citizens who ended up heading towards Canada after taking a wrong turn.
He has 3 warrants, 2 limited extradition, 1 no extradition.
Public records show one of the men has outstanding arrest warrants for theft, possession of prohibited weapons, and probation violations.
So this is a considerable amount. I'm going to call this personal use.
And after finding a large bag of marijuana and money orders in their car, he suspects all 3 are involved in selling drugs.
Yeah, you guys can just have a seat. So what we did find right in the car is we found a considerable amount of marijuana. So to start with, at the border, marijuana is still illegal, right? You can't bring it here. Okay.
That's mine.
That's yours? Okay. What are you doing with all this weed?
I smoke a lot.
No kidding.
I have nerve damage. When I'm high, I don't feel anything.
The man claims he was shot in the hand, and alongside prescription medication, he is using marijuana to manage his pain.
What about my window?
That's my next question. Why do we have $2,000 worth of money orders? Because that's fairly unusual. Everyone does Venmo, Zelle and stuff.
Money orders are notoriously difficult to trace and are often used in the supply and distribution of drugs.
Okay, here, come up here real quick. Explain to me how you got this cash.
But the traveler is adamant that the orders are legitimate.
I do work with my boy, construction.
Okay, do you normally get paid by money order?
That or cash, either or.
Are you selling drugs?
No, I don't sell drugs.
Have you ever sold drugs?
No.
All right, man, you can have a seat.
Officer Roth suspects the men are selling marijuana without a license, a felony that could land them in jail. But he has no concrete evidence.
In terms of processing, we're probably going to seize the drugs, and we're going to call the agency that issued the warrant, and we're going to see if they're going to come down.
The 3 travelers may have avoided drug charges.
2573422.
But one is still wanted for multiple crimes.
Hey, this is Customs and Border Protection Officer Roth, Detroit Land Border.
So Officer Roth calls law enforcement in his hometown of Flint to see if officers there want to arrest him.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep. Thank you. Bye. the amount of warrants and what the warrants are out for, they'll come pick them up. So we call Genesee County, right? We call Wayne County Sheriffs, come pick you up. You know who you are, okay?
The wanted man will be held in Detroit until his arrest.
Here at the border, if we find an active warrant, we do have to honor it, and we do have to make sure we look into it.
Yeah, you guys can go that way.
For this traveler, today's wrong turn could land him behind bars. In Laredo, Officer Aquino Jimenez is questioning a family who has applied for humanitarian parole to enter the U.S.
Okay.
3 members of their family were murdered in their own home.
Previous adverse action.
But officers have discovered that one of the group was deported from America in 1998, jeopardizing the whole family's chance of being admitted. Officer Aquino Jimenez now needs to verify the family's tragic story. He reviews a letter the family has from the funeral home.
Mount Church Price, how may I help you?
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Customs and Border Protection Officer Javier Aquino, out of Laredo, Texas. I just wanted to confirm that you're going to have a service on October 27, 2024, around 1:30 p.m.
Yes, we have a funeral planned for that time.
Can you provide me the name of the deceased?
The family story checks out.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Officer Aquino Jimenez now knows that their petition is legitimate. But it will be down to his supervisor to decide if the previous deportation disqualifies them from entry.
I'm gonna go ahead and present the case with one of my supervisors to see if they approve the case.
In recent years, more and more people have been applying for humanitarian parole, but the vast majority are denied.
So,
The 98, it's fine.
so 7 days?
7 days.
It's good news. The supervisor is granted a week-long permit.
Este es el permiso del que le habíamos mencionado. Es el que le va a dar la oportunidad de que puedan entrar en el día de hoy y asistir al funeral. Cada uno de ustedes tiene uno individual. Una vez crucen la garita del checkpoint, es el documento que van a presentar, ¿ok? Bien. Adelante. Sir.
The family members continue on their way, knowing they'll be able to lay their relatives to rest.
It was a tragic story, and we feel so sorry about their losses. We are officers, but we are humans, and we understand their plea for the humanitarian parole. So they can go and say the last goodbye to the family members.
The Progreso International Bridge in South Texas.
Hello, U.S. citizen? Can you lower the window, please?
At peak times, getting across the border here can take over an hour.
The cars, the traffic, it's nonstop, no matter what time.
And the frustration of having to wait in line is too much for some travelers.
Oh my God! No, tú le tapas. Tú le tapas.
So the driver hit the passenger. I guess the officers up here saw it.
Officers have been called to an SUV carrying 4 family members back home to Texas after a trip in Mexico.
So I went over there because he kept calling me. So I went over there. I said, I'm not. I'm right now.
The woman in the back seat claims that she got into an argument with her brother, who then hit her.
You know what I mean? This is like already the 4th time. He's choked me. He's beating me. He's my brother.
Unlock the doors. Ma'am, step out.
Officers decide to separate the pair.
Put your phone in your bag.
And while some stay with her brother, Officers Hamad and Hernandez take the woman into the waiting room.
Were y'all fighting?
No, he kept calling me a and I said, okay, bro, I'm not a right here. When I went up to him, boom, he just went at me and then boom, he gave me a hit.
In this case, this is kind of a control and calm down the situation moment. And so we separate this subject from the rest of the family. It seems like she's pretty heated up, so we're not gonna be able to leave them all in the car in the line.
The woman is insistent that she is the victim of an assault.
I'm always the one abused. I'm always the one getting hurt. I'm always the one in the hospital, and he's over there living life like nothing.
But back out on the bridge, her brother is giving officers a very different version of events. He says he was attacked and has shown officers bite marks on his hand. He also claims that violates a court order banning her from having any physical contact with him.
It turns out that the driver has a protection order on the female in the back seat.
If it can be proved that his sister was the attacker, she faces immediate arrest.
We're gonna go through the process, see what happens with her, but it looks like she could be going to jail for violation.
Every year, thousands of drug mules are apprehended at the southern border.
Our job is to, look and interrogate. Looks can be deceiving.
¿A qué se dedica usted, señor?
And that number is rising as cartels spread smaller shipments across more vehicles to avoid detection.
Ahorita le va a pasar para acá para adelante, señor. Va a pasar para secundaria.
This evening, at the Camino Real Bridge in Eagle Pass, officers have pulled aside a sports car.
So this side is okay.
The car was stopped after an intelligence tip-off indicated the driver may have cartel connections.
I'm gonna take it to the Jeep portal.
But an initial inspection has revealed nothing suspicious. The car is taken to the Z Portal X-ray machine for a detailed scan.
There's something there.
Officers soon spot an anomaly.
It's like a block, a rectangle.
Tucked beside the rear quarter panel on the driver's side is what looks like a 12-inch rectangular brick.
There shouldn't be anything there. So we're just gonna try to figure out what this is.
So it's like real close to the bottom, right there where the rim is.
They call in a canine trained to sniff out drugs. If the dog locates any narcotics, he'll alert his handler by sitting down. But the dog doesn't detect anything.
The dog didn't alert, but we're still not 100% sure. We're not fully satisfied with the inspection, I should say.
The car may appear negative for drugs, but given the intel on the driver and the anomaly on the X-ray, officers aren't willing to let it go just yet.
Here we see an anomaly right here in this area. We need to see what's in between this part and the inside.
And on closer inspection, Officer Treviso finds signs that the bodywork has been modified.
The only thing I can think of is they cut it. That's what I think they did. But you can see where it's stuck right there.
The panel of the car should be made of fiberglass.
And that's exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
But a magnet sticks to it, proving that the original panel has been replaced with sheet metal.
We need to double check.
Officers are convinced that something is concealed inside the car. The question is what? Officers are talking with a woman who claims her brother assaulted her while they were waiting to cross back into the U.S.
When I went up to him, he just went at me and then boom, he gave me a hit.
However, her brother claims he was the victim and has told officers he has a protection order against his sister.
It looks like she could be going to jail for violation.
So let me understand, he's in the driver's seat and he's driving.
Yep.
Officer Hamad questions the woman further to try to get to the bottom of who is at fault.
I told you, he called me a I got to his face and I said, I am not. And when I got to his face and said, I am not, he hit me.
So it went from words to you being in his face while he's driving. That's what I'm understanding.
Well, because he was calling me.
The woman is clear that she leaned forward from the back seat to confront her brother, who then hit her in the mouth.
Okay, I understand. So what I'm getting at is, while he's driving and you guys are in the line about to cross the border, this is a bad time to be getting in a physical altercation.
And I understand that, but he's the one who hit me. He hit me. I was here quiet.
You know what I mean? You do see what I'm trying to tell you, right? He's driving a vehicle.
Yes, but he stopped the vehicle, turned around, and still hit me. So what are you trying to say? I hit myself?
You told me that he said a word and you got in his face. That's what you just told me when we walked in there, right? It's on camera.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna sit there and take it from him.
No, relax.
The inconsistencies in the woman's account lead Officer Hamad to doubt whether she was the victim of assault.
I want to get this checked where you cut my lip.
But she is adamant and even claims she has an injury.
Look what you did with my lip.
I understand, ma'am. There's nothing there.
Yes, there is. Look, there's.
I don't need it. There's nothing there, ma'am.
Yes, I can feel it. I can feel a deep gap right here.
Background checks reveal that the protection order the brother had against his sister has expired, so she will not face arrest for breaching it.
Here you go, ma'am.
But the checks also show the pair has a history of violent behavior.
You're gonna have to find your own ride home. They're not gonna be taken.
And for her family, this latest incident has been the final straw.
Are you serious?
This isn't my decision. They don't want to take it.
I know, but you couldn't do anything to him for what he did to me?
All I'm telling you right now is that once you leave these doors, they are not going to be waiting for you unless you call them and maybe they want to come back and pick you up.
The brother made it clear that he wouldn't be reporting his sister to local police. So on this occasion, she has escaped criminal charges.
There's nothing more that we could do administratively, but at the end of the day, her family wanted nothing to do with her.
Her only punishment is a long and lonely trip back home. At Eagle Pass, officers suspect a sports car is attempting to smuggle in narcotics.
There's something there. It's like a block, a rectangle.
X-rays show a rectangular block above the rear wheel arch, and there are signs the panel has been tampered with.
Well, let me get Dix to driving in there.
Supervisor Raines decides the best way to access the panel is by lifting the car and working from underneath it.
Great. There's fine.
He calls Officer Treviso over to help with the inspection.
You can really see that. Yeah. Yeah, it's right there, but everywhere else sounds just right there.
Cartels often use natural voids within a car's frame to hide drugs.
So there's like a nice little grate going across from the bottom left, top right.
I pulled the plug over here on this side, Mr. Rain.
Uh-huh.
You can see through this side. You can see inside and there.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Officer Treviso manages to loosen the suspicious panel.
Yeah, let's drop it.
Let's go.
Which he thinks will allow him access to the concealed object.
Yeah. You ready? One day,
A 12 by 4-inch block of wood is certainly not the package of narcotics he was expecting.
Honestly, I think that one, it was just too, really, the thing is like they were testing us. Sometimes what they do, they're gonna bring narcotics. They try to do a dry run, they call them. Or they put stuff like that to see what we're looking at.
In an effort to outsmart CBP, cartels will hide objects in different parts of vehicles to see if anything gets through.
They wanted to see if we would actually pick it up, I guess.
With no crime committed, officers have to release the driver and his car. But they know they have put a stop to a new cartel smuggling operation before it even got started.